All right, and we are live. What's up, everybody? It is G Mr. Drew welcoming you to another episode of the Andrew Gloszewski Experience. This is going to be episode 537. Put you in the booth. You know, it's funny. I'm in the middle of working on this story, and there were things that I wasn't exactly sure about when I started working on this story. Much like how I was anticipating having to work on props and environments when I started this whole concept thing that I've been doing. You may have noticed this year I started the reruns, so I'm showing all that old work, and being aware of it and just revisiting it, myself, not in the format of me just flipping through my sketchbook, but revisiting it in how I presented it, to the world. Something I wasn't anticipating with this story so much, and maybe it's not as big of an issue as that I may think it is, but I don't know. We'll figure it out tonight on this stream. Hopefully, or at least start to figure it out. I have a part in the story, and I've been drawing these storyboards, in the background. I'm not streaming any of that stuff, but there's like an environment and a setting that I'm trying to capture, and I'm just like, is it exciting? Is it good? Is it aesthetically pleasing? And because it's all in the super rough sketching phase, like, the answer for myself is like, oh no, like I'm not enjoying the environment, which is a me thing. It's like, ah, man, it's not that I dislike drawing environments. It's just I haven't figured out how to draw this environment particularly in a way that's like really selling it. Like I'm doing you got to be like conscious of like the camera and direction, all that other stuff. And it's like I'm drawing these things, but I feel like I'm just drawing them. And as far as like the story goes, it's cool, but I'm like, is it gonna be like cool for y'all? You know what I mean? So what I want to do is try to, like, I don't know, work on a few things. Don't worry, I'm just drawing some squares off screen. So we'll see. But looking back on those old streams and looking on those first props and little environments and little sets and things like that here and there that I was doing, and in the middle of working on this story and drawing an environment and a set and all this, that, and the other, I was just like, all right, I'm missing something. I'm missing something. I don't know how much I'm gonna need to draw. And maybe it is just what it is, For instance, let me see if I can find that page. Because what was it? I think it was on the Christmas stream. When I was doing my Christmas stream, I started drawing something. And I was like, this is cool. And it kind of harkens back to things that I was talking about when I was like kind of looking over kind of the Assassin's Creed stuff and their overhead views of cities and things like that. And I'm super happy with what I did on Christmas. But now that I've like made some progress, I'm like, okay, I need to do a little bit more. All right. So, where to start? Like, here's the thing that I'm having an issue with. And maybe I just need to like simplify some things just for myself. So, I think about all the times that I've been to oh yeah, let me do this. Alright. So I go to these conventions, or at least I used to, and still plan on going back. And I'm thinking about those settings with all the booths and how all those things are set up, and I'm like, man, how to make a convention center. Here we go. How to make it exciting. Thinking about how I like read these comic books and how much is attention is paid to the how much attention is paid to the actual environments and in the backgrounds, much like how I was talking about on the Fishman stream that I was doing, like what artists show and what they don't show, and how much of it flies under the radar. Yeah, where's that other? Oh yeah. Here, maybe I can do this. I don't know. So I'm gonna start simple, and then I'm just gonna try to. I may focus in, zoom in on some things. I might, focus out, zoom out on like the surrounding environment, because it's like it's all there. Just any of it. Is any of it necessary? It's almost like I need to do this. Even thinking about the booths, like the different amalgam of booths that they have. I was always in Artist Alley, so as far as Artist Alley go, I can pull from that just from my head, As far as like those a little bit more higher tiered booths, it's kind of like and then let's not forget that this is all just like a science fiction thing going on over here. So it's like, just you got to throw a little bit of fun in there. And even with all of that, oh, see, like that's something I never thought about. Often the Artist Alley booths are like, what, like, I don't know, 8x6 or something like that. And then you can have booths that are like 10x10 and all sorts of craziness. Yeah, the more I'm figuring this out, the more I'm throwing off the perspective. Man, I was looking at some Junji environment art, or just his artwork in general. I mean, looking at the masters, you can kind of just look at anything that they do. So this would be a pretty significant size, which is, I'm kind of aware of. And this is just me getting started. I've been sketching this thing out for, oh man, I don't know, maybe a year. Never really tried going in depth because I was just like, all right, when I get there, I'll get there while I'm here, Yeah, so it's been fun, man. Like, trying to figure it out, and I'm wondering how much, I think I just put too much mental into it, and now I think I'm at the point where I need to, look up references and all that other stuff. But I figure I'll give it one go to, really put what I want in there, and then I can look up some references and see if there's any sort of, changes that I can make. Man, look at this old busted pencil. Ah. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention something. I washed my hair not too long ago. We all know I'm notorious for passing out after I wash my hair. So if I seem to be a little bit of low energy tonight, well, it's just me fighting off the sleep. I don't know, something about rinsing that scalp, yo. Give yourself a brainwash. Something I'm looking forward to while I'm working on these storyboards and planning out, the manga pages and all that other stuff. Is just working on the characters. That's my main thing. And while I'm looking at all these comic books, and it's really cool how much they'll whenever there's heavy dialogue or a dialogue thing going on, most of the time the background is kind of taken out, and the environments are used sparingly. For establishing the setting, stuff like that. So it's okay, trying to keep that in mind while I go against my nature of just working on characters and working on environments. It's like, all right, let me work on this stuff, but not too much. Like, but figuring out the balance is kind of like the main thing here. On my Patreon, there was a slew of posts that kind of dove a bit into the first story, you know, and the environments in there. But those sketches were as rough as the ones I'm doing right now, if not more rough. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, you know, I definitely got to make these environments. And now that I'm working on the camera shots and the angles and figuring out when there's dialogue and when there's not dialogue, it's like I got to draw the environment in. And it's just like, man, how much do I want to do? How much do I got to do? Oh yeah, that video finished, didn't it? Give me 1 second.